And Rob, speaking of old school, there is nothing old school about Victor Wembanyama. And we are going to speak about him because they face the Lakers. Wembanyama and his San Antonio Spurs face the Lakers tonight. And LeBron James is playing. So, we were right about, I thought LeBron would, I didn't know, but I thought it's a good chance he plays tonight. Sat out last night against Golden State. And I figured he wouldn't play both nights of a back-to-back. They chose that with my presumptions because it gave him an extra day of rest.
But it would have been better, the other way around.
They lost to Golden State. Now, they may have lost with him, but Golden State beat them in a big game, right?
You remember, Chris?
These are close games, and these teams are all tight in the Western Conference. And with that win, of course, Golden State gained a game on the Lakers. Now they're just a half game back. It's still a lot of time left.
A lot to go. But I was surprised last night. You remember that was my best bet, taking the Warriors, because it was only -5.5. You remember I said, even without LeBron, I thought that was like 5.5. They won by what, 18? They won big.
Yeah, the Lakers threw in the towel with about 7-8 minutes left, 6-7 minutes left, something like that. LeBron and Wemby will be facing off tonight. And Rob,
I got a song for Wemby. Everyone knows it's Wemby. Boom, 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 boom.
I hope you ain't bringing that to Detroit. They'll be like, is this a country western station or is this a hip hop station? Nah, but Rob, it's a good time to weigh in on Wemby. We know he's probably the most touted prospect since LeBron James. And when you look at the sheer, praise of him, nobody was as touted as LeBron because LeBron was here in America. And we saw LeBron as a high school player, and his games were even on TV at times. So he got more, publicity and stuff than Wemby. But as far as like what people were saying about Wembanyama, I don't know if there's been anybody since like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor at that time, who's really had more praise. I mean, people saying he could be the GOAT and, he is just unlike anything we've ever seen. So I think it's a good time after 50 games in his rookie year to kind of take an assessment of him and see where we think he's at. Let me give you his stats quickly and then a quote by Kevin Durant. Wembanyama, Rob, he's averaging 20 points, 20.5 points. He's averaging 10.1 rebounds, so 20 and 10. And he's averaging a league-high 3.2 block shots. He's only playing 28 minutes a game. Now, he had the ankle injury, so he's still on like a minutes restriction. I think he's frustrated and wants to play more, and if he's injured, fine. I like to see him play more. I'm frustrated too.
Yeah, but if he's injured, he's injured.
Yeah, if he's injured,
can't force the issue.
Right. But I look forward, and I hope this is not just load management by the Spurs. This guy next year, he's shown, Rob, because we talk all the time with ex-athletes, Kerry Kittles and the like, about how, guarding out on the floor, on the perimeter now, for big guys especially, is more taxing, more chances for injury. He gets out there on the perimeter and guards. Now,
he rolled his ankle the other day, shots. Chris. Did you see that? Like I thought, and he got up and kept going.
He turned it, but yeah. I mean, that happens. And yeah, we've seen big guys, and understandably so, people were concerned, like, is he going to be able to stay healthy? Because we know the Sean Bradleys, the Greg Odens, and, Yao Mings, and so many guys who are incredibly tall who haven't been able to stay healthy. But he has not really appeared any different than any other player out there as far as the risks and how taxing, the perimeter play is for him and stuff. So it looks like that won't be a problem. Let's certainly hope so.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah. I have seen nothing. I get it. They're 11-45. One of the worst records. I think is the third worst record. Yeah, third worst record in the league. Worst in the West. But I tell you what, individually, I've seen nothing to make me think, oh, he's not as good as advertised, or he won't be as good as the projections. I think this guy, and I actually feel like next year he's going to take a huge jump and probably be like a top 10 player next year. I think he's phenomenal, and I see nothing not to like about him.
I'm disappointed in how bad the team is. And I'm not saying that's all on him, Chris.
Right.
But he's a generational talent. You have to, at that age and the numbers you're putting up in a limited amount of time you're playing, you would think you'd have just a little bit more impact on the game. And there were just too many for me. They lost 18 in a row. And I'm not, Chris, show me a spot where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lost 18 in a row at any level, where Michael Jordan lost 18 in a row at any level, or LeBron James lost 18 in a row at any level. I just don't, I can't imagine of the all-time greats anybody losing at that clip. That's the only part where I question anything. How? I'm not saying I'm not saying you're going to win, make the playoffs or play 500, Chris. I'm not saying that. But lose 18 in a row and you're that talented? That's shocking to me.
Yeah, to me, they have no point guard. So, number one, they don't have a point guard. And if you watch them early in the season, I was pulling my hair out like, get the ball to Wemby. Like, they weren't even looking for him any more than anybody else, Zach Collins or whoever it was out there. And so I think, one, not having a point guard, they don't have very good perimeter shooting. So all of that has bad spacing. They're not getting him the ball where he should get it. So I think those are reasons. But also, Rob, you mentioned impact. He has impact. The Spurs, and I told you he's only playing like 28 minutes a night. The Spurs defensive rating, Rob, with Wembanyama on the court is 112.6. That won't mean much to people. But that would rank, when he's on the court, that would rank 7th in the NBA. Like, they would have the 7th best defense in the NBA. When he's off the court, their defensive rating jumps to 119.9. That would be 28th in the league. And so that's impact. I mean, it's just when he's not out there, obviously the defense is horrific. And so, just in general, I don't typically blame rookies for not winning. I don't expect them to win.
Chris, I'm with
LeBron
you.
didn't make the playoffs his first 2 years. You know, Bird played great and won, but he went to a team that had, even though they didn't win a lot of games before that, they had a bunch of Hall of Famers.
They were bad,
older.
though. They were bad.
Right. They were bad. They were 29 games, I think, the year before he got there.
They were bad.
61. But Bird was also a grown man when he entered the league. Bird was like 22, you know, when he got into the league. So I just think, Rob, like, when you look at this guy, he can do everything. He can handle the ball. He's nutmegging people. He can pass. And one of the big keys, they moved him to center and benched Collins, who was starting at center next to him. But Collins couldn't shoot, couldn't spread the floor. So now there's more room for him to work. He's played much better since they moved him to center. I assume they're going to get a point guard who can get him the ball in the right spots over the summer, get some shooting around him. And as he just gets stronger, whether he fills out that body or not, we'll see. But as he gets stronger, his shot blocking, his coverage on the perimeter, his passing, he's tough down low as far as scoring the basketball, obviously with his size. But he can shoot it too. Like, the dude, man, I think he's as good as advertised. Here's what Kevin Durant said about him, Rob. This was during the All-Star break. And Durant was a guy he looked up to growing up and, you know, wanted to play like him.
Well, right. And they're real
lean.
long, yeah, and skinny and all that.
Yep. Durant said this. He can achieve anything he wants in this game. He's only getting more comfortable as time goes on. Luckily, I'm on my way out, so I won't have to deal with it too much. But, yeah, Rob, I think the dude is the truth. And I'm excited about the future. I actually think it's going to be a huge jump next year. He'll know what to expect now, and I think the Spurs will do a better job building around him. And I expect him to really take off next year. But